a difficulty that you'll face. And you can see that I'm trying to just make sure that I can get these traps like right underneath them so they'll actually hit. Otherwise, if they're even slightly off, a lot of times they won't do any damage whatsoever. So the open caverns are definitely preferred in this instance. And I'm actually going to run up here. See if I can sink down to that area right there. Okay, so that's just going to do that. So I'm trying to just continue running to this right way, right of the way I came in, and the way I came in is basically towards that top left. I think I had like 11K. So gold is an interesting part of the run, and it makes sense, right, from a gameplay standard. From a storyline, I don't know how much it makes sense when you're sitting there and you're like, you know, you're like in the middle of a Diablo fight and you come back and you're like, oh please, I just need a potion to heal myself, and they're like, 500 gold. Are you kidding me? To save the world right now. I'm like, oh, we got to run the business still. So, slightly annoying, and you really have to manage it, and the assassin's a little bit easier to manage because she doesn't quite soak up as much gold, but someone like the sorceress, which I ran in was that last one or the first one? That was the first one. She takes a lot of gold because she's constantly teleporting and using it just nonstop. So someone like her, it'll just take absolutely forever, and you just have to constantly be aware of how much gold you have and if you're running low and whatever not. So we're in level 3, so now I want to start going straight, and we got a decent level 3 map. Very happy with that. And we'll try to avoid explosion after the bit. So level 15, heading out of there, isn't bad at all. I'd like to have slightly more experience if I could, but that's something that I'll just try and gather here along the path as I'm kind of going forward to the Claw Viper Temple. This is going to be where I'm getting the last piece. I know that the exit's not down this bottom left just by the way that it is, so take that for what it is. And so now I'm going to be moving up to this top area, and hopefully once again we'll get some beetles, get some experience from that. So get some experience from some beetles along the way, and then additionally just look for this exit, and so I'm just going to run towards this top corner and hope that find it here. Once again, not too big of a deal if I don't. But there are beetles here, so once again that makes things a lot easier. So this will be Lost City, and now I just have to find the final corner once again, just looking for corners in Act 2, so I can figure anything out of where it's going to be. So it's not in the first corner. This is the only area that the first corner can actually have the exit. All the other exits are going to be in the other 3 corners, but this one can have it right on that initial turn. And sometimes that's always the worst feeling when you run the entire map and realize it was just right at the front, and you're like, another great way to throw your run. But that one's actually like on you if you do that. So won't be down here. We'll continue looking over on this other side, and hopefully it is, because we have that ladder all the way over there. So if it's not, it's just going to be a long trek back up. That's one of those things where you just have to play the math, and it looks like it did not work in our favor. You have to just play the math and say, okay, there's 2 exits down below, there's 1 exit up top. I'm going to go for my odds, but in a marathon, odds are usually against you, right? So, but we've had decent RNG so far this run. I can't complain. I have all the rupees. That right there is a big step. So that was probably my biggest concern coming in, that I wouldn't get a big step. So, just moving towards Claw Viper Temple. If you want to go ahead and read a couple of donations, go ahead.
We have $20 from Steve the Pirate. Had to donate during Mr. Llama's stream for all the great dating advice I've gotten from it over the years. Go Llama! Money to runner's choice.
So, a good way to describe my social skills is that I learned my social skills, or I guess me as a whole, creating. But I learned my social skills from playing video games with other people who learn their social skills from playing video games. So we have a lot of fun in my chat, just kind of around that, I suppose. Good stories. You can read another one if you want. Hopefully not about a girl. But dating.
This one looks to be about neither of those. We have $10 from Oat Bran. Had to donate during the Diablo 2 run, especially since Llama is the reason I got back into this game. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so right there, I want to go left of the way I came in. This is an example of where going left immediately doesn't always work out in your favor. So looks like it's not going to be this way. I'll go ahead and continue, and then expect it to be probably on this down and then over path. So one of those, once again, you just got to kind of run the patterns that you know best, and then if they hit dead ends, you can turn around and say, okay, what's going to be the second best pattern here? That would still give me the same result. So this one, I'm guessing, is just going to go really far down to the bottom right, and then should have a kick over to the right here pretty soon. And that'll be my level 2. And it's still possible that that is not the path, but I'd probably put money on that at this point. It's looking pretty good. And yeah, there you can see it's starting to go up. And our level 2 should be right here. Perfect. So, just a lot of map and pattern recognition. And we set that to be there just as a safety precaution. Fangskin, he's not too bad on the assassin, but he's definitely someone who can take out a character pretty easily. He does a lot of damage, and if he gets you kind of in a hit lock, you'll just get stunned over and over, and him and a couple of his minions start hitting you. It can turn into a bad time. So at this point, I have both pieces. I'm going to go and just morph them in the cube. That makes a big staff, which we don't have to actually watch being made. You can just say, all right, cool, I know it's being made. And now I'm just going to fill up on some potions here. And my gold is definitely a little bit short, so that's something. We'll just have to watch gold along the way. And this is something that, once again, another thing to balance in this game, right? So you're balancing your experience and your leveling. You're balancing the speed at which you're running through. You're also having to balance the gold that you have constantly, because if you run out, then you're going to have not a fun time with trying to buy potions and having nothing to buy, right? So, kind of annoying. So now we're going to go ahead and make our way towards the Arcane Sanctuary, which has no set path in it. This is like the ultimate nightmare of any speedrunner right here. You have a 1 in 4 chance of finding the right way, and that's it. And there's no path. And people will tell you there's a path. They'll say, oh, follow the stars. They move to the left, so it's to the left. Or they'll say, well, my brother, you look at the patterns on... No, there's nothing. There's nothing, I promise you. We've done thousands of tests. And I'm sure someone still in chat is like, no, I know the way, trust me. You don't. There's nothing. You just can't do it. So instead, you just put your prayer hands together and you say, all right, Diablo, give me what you got. Give me your best in that first way. Because I've definitely had runs that were on a PB or world record pace heading into here and then fourth weight it. And unfortunately, I'm kind of known for fourth weighing it as well, third and fourth weighing it, so...
Sometimes even fifth weighing it.
Sometimes even fifth weighing it. Thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that. So a fifth way is where you start down one path and then you turn around and go, I don't like this path, whether there's a lot of monsters or you missaw the ending and you thought that it wasn't the right way. And so you turn around and you run all the other directions, only to realize that, nope, that was the way to go. So this area is especially garbage for the assassin. One, it's a tight area, and I mean tight areas are bad for a lot of characters, but the worst part is a couple of the ways have stairs, and stairs are a nightmare. Stairs are absolutely horrible because traps don't work on stairs well at all. It's kind of like the maggot lair trying to have traps work. So it's one of those things that can just be really bad. And oh, we got the first way. Everybody, your prayers to Diablo worked. Congratulations. You all just prayed to the devil. But hey, first way, right? So that's really good. That'll definitely be helpful moving forward. And now we get to avoid the stairs paths. which is always super exciting because nobody wants to watch that. That's where I literally just sit there, and if there's a giant group of monsters standing on the stairs, I'll just be casting my Fire Blast over and over for like 20 seconds, waiting to kill them. So now we just go to Taurash's Tome, and it looks like that could be a potential area right above. So normally I want to run to that bottom right area, but I'm taking kind of a guess here, just based on the pattern that I see above. That might be a place that I want to go. I'm going to go ahead and get some gold. We also have beetles down here, which is really nice. So this should get me my level 17. There's my stealth armor. Hopefully you saw all the beautiful stats on it. And it looks like we did not. Okay, so that did not give us the exit, unfortunately, but it could potentially still lead us over there. So it wasn't a terrible mistake. Let's continue on. If you want to read another donation while I look for the tome here, we'll talk more about that.
So for those of you who may have been watching the GameStar Poker account on social media, you may have seen photos from our SGDQ poker tournament. And we have just received the winnings of the poker tournament from Prolix for $520. And the message with that donation was, "Hi everyone, Prolix here on behalf of the SGDQ 2017 Annual Charity Poker Tournament participants. The tourney has ended and we are now donating the winnings to Doctors Without Borders. My thanks to Church and Sarge for organizing things and Hyde Flow Me In for running the tournament. It was wonderful playing with so many great runners, volunteers, attendees, and friends. As the winner, I get to decide what our donation goes towards, so this money is helping unlock the bonus Dark Souls run since I love that game. Here's to everyone having a great time for the rest of the marathon."
That's awesome. Congratulations. So now I'm going to go ahead and stock up on potions, and I'm going to go ahead and stock on a couple of thawing potions as well. And just like I told you guys earlier in the run, that stamina potion stack, thawing potions have the same property. Every thawing potion I drink, I'll gain 50 resistance, 50 cold resistance, and that will stack for, or that will work for 30 minutes, or 30 seconds. 30 minutes is really nice. So I get 30 seconds of additional cold res every time I drink one of those. And since Duriel, the final boss here, which we just came upon, we're at the piece now where I'll have it. Since he is does a lot of cold damage, that'll be really beneficial in that fight. So for all of you who are out there and are like, oh my gosh, Duriel's impossible, how do you kill him? Do yourself a favor and drink a couple thawing potions beforehand, and you will have a much better time. Hopefully I have enough potions. So I'm a very, very good on experience right now. I'm very happy with where I'm at. And I suppose right now I can actually talk about something called Next Delay, which is really, really, really cool. Or cool in the mechanic idea, not cool in that it makes my damage worse. So what Next Delay is it's specific to each skill in its own way. Some skills aren't affected by it, such as Light Sentry, which is a lightning trap that you can. Other skills like Shockweb are affected differently than my skill Wake of Fire. So the skill that I'm dropping down right now that's releasing these waves of fire, whenever it hits Duriel, he becomes invincible for X number of frames. I forget exactly what it is on Wake of Fire. 8 maybe? 13? 8? Somewhere around there. He becomes invincible for that time purely to the next Wake of Fire. So if both of my traps hit him at the exact same time, or if I have 5 Wake of Fire traps and they all release a wave of fire and those waves hit him at the exact same time, I'm not going to get... Hey, there you go. We can talk about that too. I'm not going to get any additional damage out of it. It'll be the exact same as if only one of them hit. So the optimal way that we kind of run is dropping 2 traps at a time. That tends to be the just kind of preferred method through all of our testing. It's just kind of been, okay, if you have 2 traps down, you're doing pretty much the most damage that you can. So that's the end of Act 2. We can start moving on to Act 3 here. That little TP trick's a quick way to get over to Tanishi. And what we saw there is we actually saw 2 of the exact same item just drop, which is, it happens. I'd say it's generally a little bit more rare. And it can happen to set items. So the way the game works is, and this is unique to unique items, which we haven't seen any of those yet, but they kind of have like a tannish color. So a unique item can only drop once per game. That is all. So if I find a Stone of Jordan in this game, I can never find another Stone of Jordan. Not on this character, right? But in this exact specific game. And what will actually happen is if it tries to roll that item again and it hits that roll, like it would be actually creating it, Stone of Jordan is a bad idea. That's what a unique looks like, but that's a quest item. But if it rolls and it hits what it was supposed to hit, it'll actually roll the item then down again, because it's impossible to drop to the same item if it's unique. However, items like set items, anything like that, those can't drop twice. So we just saw a double drop of Casares' belt right there, which is a decent belt. I would prefer to have boots, but that's okay. So something that's really, I guess, important to note there is the faster run walk. That's why I would have preferred those boots. That can be a big help in getting a solid run. So a lot of the record runs, you'll note, have those finds of boots with like 20 faster run walk speed, something like that on them. And that can really improve the speed at which you're running. So Act 3 is terrible. It's just a terrible act. And the reasoning is the way that the pathing is built and the maps are built is very, very weird. So the way that normally would go is Spider Forest goes to the Great Marsh, which then goes to the Flare Jungle. The Great Marsh is pointless. There's nothing in the Great Marsh that you need for the game. You just need Spider Forest and Flare Jungle and then moving forward. But what can happen is sometimes the game will give you the Flare Jungle right next to the Spider Forest. So it won't actually connect to the Great Marsh, it will instead connect to the Spider Forest. And you just have to be able to kind of like find that. And it's something that takes a lot of time to really get familiar with how a map looks, to say, this map looks like it might have a skip on it, versus, oh, this map looks like it probably wouldn't. And that's just, it's just so hard to read. It's one of those things that's just not easy. You know, a lot of the maps you can be like, oh, I know I need to go left here or something like that. The way that these maps get generated, it's just super strange. So we just need to kind of run around and hope. And in this case, I'm thinking I will hit Flare Jungle. Based on my initial impression here, it feels like there's going to be a Flare Jungle over here somewhere, hopefully. But we won't know for sure. That's not promising. Okay, so there might be something off to the right. Let's have to check and see. So I also am going to eventually go back and get a 2 open socket staff, and that's going to be useful in assisting in that. So not good. Okay, so it's looking like there's less and less chance now of there being a Flare Jungle skip here. I'm also going to be going back and getting a 2 open socket staff so I can make that leaf windward. But Row runes aren't viable until level 19 anyways, or usable. So it doesn't really matter at this point. I was hoping maybe I'd like find a short staff along the way, but that hasn't happened. So I'll just continue leveling and moving around. And it looks like we are not going to get that skip, unfortunately. So we'll just have to continue on. And I can verify really quick over here that this is going to run into trees, just so I don't look like a fool. Okay. Actually, it's looking a little better now. That's looking a little bit better now. So sometimes you get that like cross at the river, and that's usually a good sign. That was the initial indication to me, and now we did hit Flare Jungle. So we did get the skip. Okay, perfect. So that was the initial indication that made me believe that there was going to be a skip. If you get that river cross, a lot of times you can see it. It just happened to be right at that cross. And we actually also have really good boss boots down here, so I'm going to get a lot of experience, probably too much experience in the long run here. We'll see. So the birds are mediocre. They don't really give a ton of experience, but all these little flare guys, there's just so many of them, and a lot of them are just worth a decent amount of experience. So when you put them all up, it just ends up leveling up your character really quickly. And like I said, if you watch the experience bar that I have running down the bottom there, you'll see how fast it's actually increasing.